that we feel sort of blessed to be able to do at Atlas Network is help us remember friends of the movement who have passed. And since the last time that we all met together at the Freedom Dinner, we've lost two great friends of Atlas Network and great friends of Liberty. And to share some remarks with us, I'd like to invite to the stage someone I'm really proud to call my colleague at Atlas Network, our Executive Vice President, Tom Palmer.
One of the hardest things to do is to say goodbye to dear friends. Remembering them publicly is also difficult, but it needs to be done. I just hope I can do so coherently. The Liberty Movement is full of opinionated people. I would know. But what are rare are competent and rational people who make things happen. People who improve and heal the world without seeking the spotlight. And I'd like to take just a couple of minutes to introduce two of them to many who did not have the pleasure to know them, and to recognize and honor their contributions to our movement. I'll start with George M. Yeager. With other colleagues at Atlas Network, including our former board chair, Dan Grossman, I enjoyed a great deal of fellowship and many deep and serious conversations with George. He would share his views on the market, on politics, on culture, music, art, opera, food, and books, but only after first asking other people what their views were. He honestly wanted to know what other people thought. That was more important than just expressing his own views. He combined deep curiosity with intellectual playfulness and a sense of humor. George was a successful financial advisor who helped many people to expand, safeguard, enjoy, and share their wealth. He was known on Wall Street for his approach to investing. He believed in the basics and directed capital toward long-term investment in firms. He believed that free enterprise and free trade enrich the world, that free enterprise is the greatest engine for eliminating poverty and allowing people to live lives of dignity, and that toleration and voluntary action allow us to live together in peace, so that each may pursue goodness, virtue, and beauty in his or her own way. His belief in the basics and what he called common sense also characterized his investment in the future of liberty. After some years of generous support, he endowed Atlas Network with the George M. Yeager Chair for Advancing Liberty. It was a singular honor for me to be named the first occupant of that chair, and it is a responsibility that I do not carry lightly. Our other dear friend whom we lost is Andrea Rich. I'm reminded of her daily, and I miss her. The first time I met Andrea was in 1975 in New York. She was the coolest libertarian I had ever met. She was witty and sharp and principled and funny and artistic and smart and just cool. And over time, I came to learn I had met one of the most devoted and effective friends our movement has ever had, and one of the finest human beings I've ever known. Andrea actively befriended, and as a member of the Atlas Network board, mentored so many important libertarian leaders around the world. I was in Nigeria this August at the Atlas Africa Liberty Forum, and I spent some time with the keynote speaker, June Orunga Kimani, whom Andrea had helped and encouraged for so many years. After time in London and New York and Accra, June is back in Nairobi running a business and running a family, and now she's mentoring the next generation of libertarian leaders across Africa. And as June and I shared memories and some tears together, she reminisced very fondly about how much Andrea's friendship and advice and encouragement means to her now. June was one of many who benefited from Andrea's wise counsel, her steady encouragement, and her warm friendship. Observing June, standing back and watching her, encouraging and praising, and in private, gently correcting younger libertarians in Africa reminded me so much of Andrea, whose example and whose spirit is very active in the world today. June's mentorship is helping others, who will help others, who will help others. And in all of that, Andrea's mind and goodness will still be active. Andrea was a businesswoman and turned her business skills to laissez-faire books, which she and her husband Howie took over, not as a profit-maximizing, but as a loss-minimizing business. They were very aggressive about minimizing losses. The laissez-faire books catalog was a lifeline for all those who wanted the ideas of liberty, promoting books through sparkling and powerful reviews by the late Roy Childs. Every month, I got my copy delivered by a uniformed agent of the federal government, and its arrival was a moment of joy. It brought us books we would otherwise never have had access to. And by making so many good books available to a liberty-hungry audience, she got more libertarian books published, more libertarian books printed, and sold by publishers at much lower prices. She would approach writers before publication and help them to negotiate with the publishers. She would commit to a pre-publication purchase that brought down the marginal cost of printing the books for the publishers dramatically, allowing them to turn a $99 book into a $24.95 book and extending its reach dramatically. What very little I know about bargaining, I learned from being coached by Andrea. I learned to make an offer or ask a question and then shut up. She said, now shut up, quiet, no more, and wait for the answer, for the response. She also established the Center for Independent Thought, which manages Stossel in the classroom. It's a great project for introducing millions of young people to the ideas of liberty. Andrea was a true cosmopolitan. She reached people all over the globe with the ideas of liberty. Her role in bringing the ideas of liberty to countries that were liberating themselves from communism was especially notable. When I was working in the Soviet Union and its subject nations, Andrea and I worked together, along with our late friend John Blundell, to send entire containers of libertarian books on history and economics and philosophy and other topics to distributors and bookstores throughout Europe. An entire generation grew up reading books provided by Andrea, but not 1 in 10,000 will ever know that his or her life was enriched so much by Andrea Rich. Andrea was a beautiful soul, and her life is a work of art. The most beautiful art she created was her marriage, her life partnership and friendship with Howie, the love of her life. Andrea's next most beautiful work of art was the global libertarian movement, you.